Hello, and this is episode 4 of the Gay Schizophrenic. I am a gay schizophrenic as promised, and today we're going to be diving into some elven culture. Those of elves that have been urbanized, actually, who aren't totally separated from the wood elves, but in the process of urbanization. I'm actually going to read from an excerpt from the book I wrote, Joran, King of the Free Elven People. And just to show you a little bit of the culture of elves. See, I identify as an elf. As you can see, I have pointy ears. And they actually used to be pointier, but they were clipped as a child because girls giggled at them. When I had sinus surgery, my mom was just like, hey, give them a little clip. But yeah, no scarring from that or anything. Just I used to be more visibly an elf. Of course, I'm an urban elf, was a wood elf in past lifetimes, but actually came into the urban area because I saw a soda making machine, and that's what brought me to this family. And since then, I've been an urban elf. So we're just going to dive straight into this story here, and I'll be reading it. So let's just start with this. This is chapter 3. What we're going to start with. It works for Star Wars, episode 4. I know, not 3. And yeah, that's what we're going to start with. So, chapter 3, Culture Shock and Superiority. A year had passed and the laser cannon was nearing completion. We elves approach technology much differently than humans. Humans are so strange. They want to name every piece and keep track of how everything's hooked together. I've thought a lot about their obsession with order, and it's beyond me. Our small unit was gathered in the shop late one night. We had been working all day. White Knuckle, one of the 3 humans, threw down his wrench. Why are you putting that there? That's a damn catalyst. It's right in between 2 prisms. I thought that was the firing path, White Knuckle said angrily. White Knuckle and Johann had been arguing a lot lately. It seemed like they might come to blows quite often. Kip, Kip, Johann spoke to himself as he wrenched the catalyst into place. My jaw dropped. Oh, you think I'm stupid because I'm a human. I've listened to you talk to the other elves. A lot of yips and nips sounds. Those are your vowels. You only hear the vowels of your language. It's a language of nuance and hidden meanings. I ain't ever heard no kip sound. You just cursed at me. I want an apology. White Knuckles sounded mad, but remained calm. Then why don't you write down where I put that piece? Write down everything, even the history of your race, for accuracy. Ha! How about you go read your children a bedtime story instead to tell them one passed down? How about you enjoy a book in silence instead of a tale with friends? Kip, Kip, Johann spoke the words with both his vocals and hands. Big Red and Bluebeard, the other 2 humans, began to interject. Johann waved them silent, a mind power of sorts. Johann motioned for their silence as the Legion said he was obeyed, but not by White Knuckle. You're a racist, White Knuckle said. Your race is one to be despised. Your history paints such a nice written lie. I was there when they had crucifixions lined the whole of the Appian Way. It was like I-95 back then. Does your history make mention of the men, women, and children of this crime? No, it praises Jesus as a Savior, as if crucifixion was a rare thing, my friends. I will never apologize to a human, Johann said heartily. I felt an obligation, a duty I could not suppress. Johann was my father in Legion's stead, but I was king of all free elven people. Johann, you will apologize to your friend and valued ally of my kingdom, I said authoritatively. I was surprised at the authority my voice mustered. I awaited my father's response with dread at the thought of overstepping my boundaries. Johann did not respond right away. I could tell he was composing himself thoughtfully. White Knuckle, you are a valued friend of mine, ally to my son, Joran, king of all free elven people. I apologize sincerely to you and your family. Joran, you need not look so frightened. I must listen to and obey when you speak sensibly and with reasoned words. Johann spoke before extending a hand to White Knuckle, as was human custom. Big Red and Bluebeard started laughing. You mean the kid there with the skateboard strapped to his back all the time is your, what, is he King Tut? Big Red inquired. White Knuckle and Johann were having a more somber moment. I'm not the smartest man, but I know what I see. We started having arguments after my old lady gave me this crucifix necklace. I didn't know you had friends crucified, and I won't wear it no more out of respect. But Jesus is my Lord, and you can't talk smack on him, White Knuckles said as he grasped Johann's hand. I felt empowered and didn't like Big Red and Bluebeard laughing at me. I scowled. You will not mock the king of all free elven peoples. This I command, I ordered. Fuck off, kid, Big Red responded. Everyone was laughing at me, and I didn't like that. Sometimes wood elves revert to a primal state and try to scar each other to resolve differences. Even though I was young when my clan was murdered, I still had a few scars. I knew that scarring people over disagreements was wrong, just like eating the family dog. I had reasoned that much out. Still, I was angered and cared not for these foreigners' laughter. I growled. My fang-like teeth grew from their hiding places in my gums. My claws grew from underneath the nails. I began staring down my mockers in attempted intimidation. My tantrum was interrupted by Johann scolding. Jorun, leave my shop. Go to your bed. The laser cannon is almost operational. I thought we were test firing tonight, I whined, not sounding like an authoritative king anymore. There is a we that will be test firing the laser cannon at a CNN satellite tonight, but there is no you in that we. Go to bed, Johann spoke so heartily. I turned and walked away. It was too much to bear, having imagined what the laser cannon would do when completed and fired. I wanted to know what it would look like and sound like. I wanted to see something explode. I reached my cot that was my bed and buried my face in my pillow. I purposely made my tears flow as much as possible and wailed some, knowing that the others would hear. I wanted them to feel bad for picking on me and to know that they had hurt me, as shown by the wetness of my pillow. I heard them talking. Nothing really translated into anything understandable over my cries till Johann laughed and then said, If I would have left that catalyst in between those two prisms in the firing path, we'd all be dead. Everybody in several miles would have had a problem. There's an infinite number of apples in a bucket, because the bucket is full, I spoke meekly to myself. Because there can't be any more apples in the bucket. But if one is taken, there's a finite amount, and since it is a bucket, there are probably more than 8, which means I have more than 8 apples after infinity. So if it was a starship engine, I could use the cell and not worry about being out of fuel. I posed at doing my homework, as the Earth kids called it, knowing my brother and father could hear. Infinity equals finite. Infinity, negative 1, equals or greater than 8, equals greater than 0. Why do I have to put greater than 0? That's obvious because greater than 8 is greater than 0. It's obvious because the whole point of the equation is to check to see if we have enough fuel. We don't want to get lost in space. Only negative 1 is acceptable because infinity only has to be more than 1. I am satisfied with what I have learned. Infinity is greater than equal to 1. Only the smallest of atoms is composed of only 1, which means nothing equals 1 since this building block has never been discovered. Of course, it exists until you find what is so small that it becomes extremely large. It's like a sponge squeezed tight. Once you let go, it becomes a lot bigger. My head hurts. I think it's time to apologize. I composed myself and lay awake, anxiously waiting the boom of laser sound that I knew would occur tonight. I deliberately wanted to leave our cabin and run outside to see the action. I had heard them speaking and arguing over best how to move it out of the shop. They had made a wheeled contraption of sorts. As much as I wanted to see the laser cannon, oh my god, laser cannon, I wanted more for Father to see I was obedient and disciplined. Duntar spoke words I dreaded. This seems like a good spot. Still 3 hours till daylight. I could have set up, but go to your bed meant to lay down and don't get up till you've slept. I wasn't going to sleep through the firing of the cannon. I wanted to at least hear it. I closed my eyes for better hearing. Yet all I heard was rednecks and brothers shouting, "Your lies are coming to an end, CNN. Our vote might not matter, but our cannon will." It went on and on. I had been in bed for between 5 minutes and an hour. My father forbid timekeeping devices in his home. They were all drunk and drinking heavily. I felt a hand on my shoulder. "You spoke wisely tonight. I am in charge, though. I have never died and have seen you lead 4 crusades against the dictator to your death. I will never concede my liege and said powers again, though I will always obey elven law that gives you the power of dominance over all when you speak sensibly and with reasoned words," Johann spoke. I raised my rock to judge him, telepathically. It hovered next to him. I was in charge. In charge I was. I could kill him in an instant. "Do you want to see the laser cannon fire or not? Put down the rock," Johann said, apparently not seeing me as a threat. It was loud. It was bright. It was the most frighteningly powerful happening of a fired cannon I had ever seen. It was the first cannon I ever saw fired. I hoped it would not be the last. The red beam of laser shot through the sky. A satisfying explosion of our target, what appeared as a mere poof from our vantage point. We celebrated with Pabst Blue Ribbon and Leonard Skinner. I tried beer for the first time. Way better than pie. I'll never forget White Knuckles' philosophical beliefs stated so truly and accurately. Praise the Lord and pass the ammo. Next chapter. And just to be clear, the first person speaking from is from Joe Run's point of view. So there you go. And he's the king of all free elven people. So on we go. The laser cannon was influential in my formative years. It gave me a sense of not being defenseless of power. I felt that it showed my new home was on the right path. I was ranting about its firing the next day at the skate park, in the subdermal voice. Humans are so strange. One of the skaters asked the oddest question. Why would you want to shoot down the CNN satellite? I was surprised he was responsive to the subdermal voice, and more so to this new human word. Why? I do what I am supposed to do. I know what I am supposed to do, I answered. I left, not wanting to be contaminated by human thoughts. I didn't want to be subjected to human logic. I had done what I was supposed to do, what I had done, built a laser cannon and shot down a CNN satellite. How could it not be the right thing to do when I do what I am supposed to do? I immediately went to Father for guidance. I don't understand humans. They ask why. He asked me to sit down at the kitchen table where he was tinkering with the catalyst. He put down his tools. Humans are different. Not evil, mind you, though many are. Your average human asks why many times in a minute. As leads, you must be careful to obtain their trust, keep them as equals, but not in actuality. They are a primitive race that is yet to be in total war from an outside force. They bicker amongst themselves in each other's countries, but never have they had a world assaulted. He spoke as I tilted my head at different angles, trying to get his voice to hit a spot that I would understand. He could tell I was perplexed. Then he suddenly became very angry. "You want to know something and you don't even take your cap off," he yelled before pulling my knit cap off. "No, my ears are ugly," I cried out. "Who told you your darling ears were ugly?" Johann, an old elf, posing at gentleness. "Nobody, but none of the human ears are pointed," I spoke unconfidently. I slept with my cap on those insecure ears. My father, Johann, also liege in my stead, was not gentle, but he seemed to know there was a time for reassuring me. He heard my subdermal words and responded to their incoherent mumbling. "I haven't thought anything of you sleeping with your cap on. Do it no longer. Go to the barn to work. Work is what is best for you now." I motioned for Johann to return my cap. He refused its return. "White Knuckle is in the barn. If you care so much what humans think, go ask him. He is amongst their best," Father directed. I left the house and moved silently to stand next to White Knuckle. Blueprints were placed on the ground next to him. Humans are so strange. He was taking his time removing a firing chamber. I made my presence known. Yep, I told Duntar and Yuan to go away. With them, it's all new ideas. I'm trying to make it so we can make multiple copies of a satisfactory cannon, White Knuckles said. I feigned entrance. I tilted my head to the right side, accentuating my left ear. He went back to work. Yip, I yelped. What? Yip, yip, I yelped again. I've been around you elves long enough to know what that means. You want my attention. Yes, I noticed you're not wearing your cap today. I want to know what you want me to notice. Your damn father put a rock in the end of the cannon last time I ignored him. A rock. He was around in Roman times. Do you elves ever grow up? Our differences in culture do not amount to maturity or lack thereof, I responded. Yip, yip, nip. White Knuckles' pronunciation was off, and literally it didn't translate to anything, but he had made two positive, one negative sentences. It was in context, more so over the meaning. I decided to trust him. You're right, it's not a real problem, but at this stage of my life it seems really important. Therefore it is, White Knuckle responded. It's my ears. They're pointed, I responded meekly. They look okay to me. You know you're an elf, right? Yeah, but besides me, it's just Duntar and Johan. There's nobody my age, I said. Tough, White Knuckles said before going back to work and completely ignoring me. You should activate that pressure hose, I suggested. Get away. Get, White Knuckle yelled. I ran away, but with no cap. I would show off my ears. White Knuckle hadn't said they were ugly. How did he know that hose would spray battery acid all over him if he disconnected it? Maybe these humans are smart. Nah, they're not animals. They don't live long, but they are people who desire freedom. They're a lot like me. Really, I guess. I like most of them. So that was an excerpt from Joe Run, King of All Free Elven People. And, excerpt from Joe Run, King of All Free Elven People. And it just shows their culture a little bit. Elves generally know what they're supposed to do and don't ask why. So there's that part of their culture. And it's all from the first person of Joe Rund, in case you can't tell. The rest of this story is pretty much lost somewhere in paperwork pile that I'll probably never find. But I hope you enjoyed the story. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. And you subscribe to the channel. Watch the other videos on the playlist. I think they're pretty entertaining. You should be entertained. And so his main goal today was read that story. Let's get the tape recorders out here. And it's not. So we'll be doing any tape recording shenanigans, so I'd like to assure you that I figured out how to plug the tape recorder into the computer. And so our sound quality should be a lot better in the future, which I know is a problem. So subscribe to the channel, enjoy the Gay Schizophrenic and my videos, and hope you enjoyed the little story. Feel free to post any questions in the comment sections. I do check those regularly. And if you want to friend me on Facebook, it's Paul Milton. And you can go ahead and friend me on Facebook. I'll respond to any inquisitive people interested in these videos. I'm friendly. Don't worry, I don't bite. So, there you go. Well, that's the end of the episode. So once again, check you later. What the hell? Check you later.